Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. It is another mod installation day. So what are we installing today? Well, it's going to be the JCR overhead MOLLE rack system that basically goes over top of the driver and passenger between the windshield frame and the roll bar. And I'm going to be installing the rear tailgate MOLLE panel. Why am I installing these? Well, I've always wanted to have an overhead rack next to me. I think it would be super useful to mount some equipment like knives, a flashlight. I also want to mount my communications radio, or at least the faceplate, to the overhead rack. I can't think of a great place that I want to mount it anywhere down below. And it's gonna give me the option when I do that install to easily take it off. I have a soft top and I don't like to leave things in my Jeep unattended. I'm probably gonna show you that in a later video, but today we're gonna install the overhead rack. And what is the tailgate MOLLE panel? Well, it is a panel that mounts to your tailgate. And I kind of have a plan. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but the idea is to mount my A or B twin compressor to the tailgate using the MOLLE panel and the air hose and filler. So the installation of the compressor and the radio are gonna be in future videos. I'm not gonna be doing those today. If you wanna see those, make sure you are subscribed. I'm putting out a video every single week, and usually 2 a week. Anyways, we're gonna install these 2 JCR racks. JCR also sent this cool shirt. I think if you order over like $100 or something, they include a shirt. I don't know, it was free. It wasn't anything to do with YouTube. But yeah, free shirts, love free shirts. So first we need to take the soft top down because we need to get access above the windshield frame, and we need to get access above the center or B-pillar roll bar and sound bar. All right, first we have to start with some trim disassembly. We're gonna pull off this trim piece here. So I've got a Torx bit, a T25, and there's a couple screws right here that we're gonna pull out and see what's next. With these 3 bolts removed, we just need to get this out of the way. We don't need to pull it all the way off, so you just pull it down. Now, if you had a hardtop with freedom panel, you would have some Torx bolts here that you need to remove, and that would remove the brackets for the freedom panel because that is going to hold on the back of this overhead rack. Now, I don't have a hardtop, so I don't have these brackets, but JCR does supply the hardware that we will need to mount the rack in here. So I'm just gonna pull this down. I'm not gonna pull this all the way off because we just need to get access to these 4 bolt holes. For the front part of the rack, we are gonna need to drill a couple holes here over our windshield frame to bolt it onto the front part. So all we're gonna do is move these out of the way. And this is pretty straightforward. You just give this a tug. And inside we have some clips that just need to be pulled down. So now we can access this piece of metal. We're gonna bolt the rack up right here, and then we're gonna mark where our holes need to be and drill them, and then we can put a bolt and nut through to secure this in place. So this is gonna look a little something like this. All right, we've got all 4 bolts installed with the JCR rack where we would normally have the freedom top panel latches. If you have your latches, you can put them on, but we're gonna take this off in a minute anyways. What this allows for is on the front, we can now center punch and mark our 2 holes that we need to drill out and put the front bolts, which are just gonna go through this thin piece of metal right here. And we're just gonna connect that up, and that's pretty much it. We are gonna drill out those holes. I've got a step bit on my drill, and I've just put a little bit of tape on it at 3/8 inch, which is where we wanna stop. So this will make drilling a lot quicker, easier, and cleaner. If you don't have any of these, I'll put a link down in the description below if you wanna check them out. And as well, after we're done, I'm gonna vacuum up with my Dewalt battery powered vacuum. If you don't have one of these in your shop, I can't tell you how handy a battery powered vacuum is to just grab and quickly clean up a mess and put back. No cords, it's nice and compact. I can carry it around wherever I will go, so super handy. I know I have a lot of Dewalt stuff, but definitely not sponsored by Dewalt. I just really like their products. All right, we've got our 2 little holes drilled, which we're going to then bolt the front of that MOLLE rack back on. We'll just grab this and pop it into place and line these back up. Hopefully, I drilled my holes right. Okay, before I tighten up these back bolts, I'm going to drop these front ones in. Just in case things shift around and then I can't get them in later. So we've got the front bolts on and just going to thread these lock nuts on from the bottom here. All right, we finished buttoning up the trim, tightened down these bolts with the locking nuts underneath here and just tuck the trim all back in. If you are putting the trim back in, or this panel, it does go in on a bit of an angle, so watch the clips underneath there. So anyways, I think this is gonna work out really well for me. I'm gonna be able to mount some stuff up here and get it up and out of the way. It's very secure and very sturdy. And I think I might put a mesh roof on here to kind of cut down on a bit of the sun when I have the top down. And that means I'll be able to put some stuff on top of here between the mesh and this rack. So let's grab this rear tailgate panel. I'll show you how this mounts up. All right, so this should be a fairly straightforward install. It's got basically four bolts that's gonna connect this to the tailgate. And we just have to drill some holes in here and use a couple spacers and mount this up. So first we need to grab a body trim removal tool, which you've seen these in other videos. Link in the description if you haven't. And we're gonna use this to pop off the plastic panel. Let's see if we can use the right side. And I imagine if you have the cargo system that you can get with your Jeep that is already on here, you probably don't want to be installing this panel. There you go, just rip that right off. In here we have mounting points already, 3. We're only gonna need 2 of them. What we're gonna do is we're gonna attach this. You can see those, we're gonna attach this slot, this hole, and this hole line up with those top mounting points. And then we're gonna, once we have that attached, we can then drill out this hole and this hole and use them as references. So I need to drill out, this is the panel we just took off. I need to drill out this here, which aligns to that mounting location, and this one here to a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna take my 1/2 inch step bit and we're just going to make some holes in here for the mounting hardware. Super clean hole. If you ever take this off, you wouldn't even know that we drilled it out. Okay, now we've got our holes. We're just gonna pop this back on. Try to do it one-handed. So now we've got, oh, actually I forgot a step. So now we've got these short standoffs. There's a bunch of standoffs that come in the installation bag. There's long ones and short ones. So I've got the short ones for this piece, and we're gonna pop these in each of these 2 holes. Okay, we've got the two spacers installed in this panel, and we're just gonna pop this panel back on. Okay, so the instructions, and by what I mean the instructions, a video that JCR has on their website are actually on YouTube, because I couldn't find any instructions on their actual website. It's just to mount these little standoffs flush with this panel, but there's no way that I'm gonna be able to get this panel back on with these sitting flush. So not really sure what they mean. I wish they actually had some instructions, or maybe these aren't the right length, but this panel is not going on with that standoff there. So I can try pushing these through more, but I don't know how that's going to affect the overall mounting location of the actual rack itself, because we need to use the mounting location of these standoffs to mount this up to then get our location for our lower bolts. Okay, so I've mounted up the panel using the top two bolts. Now the spacers are sticking out about a ½ inch, not flush like their video, and there's no instructions to tell me anything else. So I'm gonna leave it like that. It gives you a bit of clearance if you wanna thread some MOLLE straps through here, or if you're attaching a quick fist clamp through one of these screw holes. And now we've got the bottom two bolt holes. We have one right here and one right here, which I'm gonna center punch, and then we're gonna take this off again, and we're gonna drill out those two holes using my step bit here I have in my hand. And then we are going to be able to put these fatter spacers in, and there's supposed to be some bolt holes or mounting points behind those holes. So I'm hoping all this is lined up properly, because we're kind of going in blind with those mounting locations behind here, but well, let's try it. Okay, so I've got another stepper bit. This one I'm gonna drill out to 5/8. We're kind of going blind, but here we go. So this is kind of what I was worried about. We have, you can see the screw in here, but I was off by 1/8 of an inch, because there isn't really an easy way to put a straight, perfect hole or center punch through that rack when it's there. And you're also center punching through a rack, through some open space to the plastic. So even the slightest degree of being off, you're not gonna have this perfectly centered. So I had to round out this hole a little bit larger than this actual spacer. So that's gonna just sit in there, and we'll have to try to line that up as we mount the rack on. So I gotta do the other one here as well. What I'll do is line it up with the center punch, and we'll open it up. And once we can see just how centered we are, get the shavings out of the way. Once we can see how centered we are over that hole, we can open it up the rest of the way. There we go. Now for the moment of truth, trying to line these up on the bottom. So I would definitely start with the bottom ones first, because they are going to have the most variation in where the screws are going to line up to those mounting locations on the back. And then you can get the top ones started, because those are fairly accurate position, because you had them mounted in this plastic panel here. It's too bad that there's no washers included with this. There's some other mounting hardware, which I don't know what that's for, but there's no washers going with these bolts. I think that would kind of finish it off nicely with some maybe black washers. But anyways, we're gonna button this up. All right, so there is the tailgate MOLLE rack all installed. And if you're wondering what I'm thinking, a little sneak preview of maybe a future video. Yeah, that's I think what we're looking at. just a quick little sneak peek. We're not installing the compressor today. So what I think of the install, overall, not too bad. Nothing too crazy complicated. Probably do each of these in less than an hour. Really wish that JCR included some instructions on their website for both products. They did have a PDF for the overhead MOLLE rack, but not for the tailgate rack. As ironic as this sounds, I really don't like watching videos for the actual install instructions on a product. I like to be able to look through something and read it as I'm going, and then obviously watch videos to see what other people's installation experiences were like, just like on this video. So real quick, before I wrap this up, we've got a special vlog coming next week and probably the next 2 vlogs. We've got a bit of a project underway that I'm gonna be doing with Sean from The Story to Know. Now, I can't give you too much details. It's a bit of a secret project, but I'm gonna take you along behind the scenes if you're interested in seeing some of that. So make sure you are subscribed. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, guys, leave a like. I do appreciate it. Questions and comments, leave them down below. I pretty much answer everything. New videos every week. I'll see you guys soon in the next upload.